Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. In this video, we will be comparing the 2022 Mr. Olympia Hadi Choopan to third place finisher Nick Walker. And as I've said before, I pretty much agree with all the placings from the Olympia. I just want to compare these guys to see how far away is Nick Walker from becoming Mr. Olympia. And before we get into this comparison, most of the pictures I'm using of Hadi Choopan are from his individual routine and prejudging. And you could say that Hadi was holding a slight film of water. He didn't have that signature Hadi Choopan conditioning initially, but as he posed, he only got harder and harder. But let's go ahead and start this comparison off with the front double bicep shot. And when I was sizing the pictures for this video, I already knew it was gonna be a hard comparison. Once we get to the top 5, top 3 guys in the sport, we're really splitting hairs. A decision can be made off who has the better haircut. But in all seriousness, let's take a look at the arm department, and Nick Walker definitely has an edge. Some people say Nick has the best arms in open bodybuilding. Some people like Michael Krizo. Hadi's arms actually stack up pretty good in this shot, but he has shorter attachments than Nick Walker, especially in the tricep bellies. Nick Walker's tricep almost inserts at his elbow. But once we take a look at the torso, Hadi definitely has a better V-taper and a smaller waist, but Nick Walker showcases some crazy ab separation. Now let's take a look at the lower half. I would say Hadi has better quality quads, maybe more separation, more striations, but Nick Walker may have the bigger set of legs. Take a look at the difference in teardrop size as well as quad sweep size. But overall, I can definitely say Hadi's look in this shot is more pleasing to the eye. So do you guys prefer the mass with class look in this front double or the freaky mass monster look? Now let's take a look at the side chest pose. And as you guys can see, I made Hadi Choopan a little bit shorter because he does squat down in this shot. And Hadi does a great job of presenting himself. He doesn't pose small, he makes himself look as big as possible. And also the way he's holding his arm closer to the camera makes his tricep look a lot better. And is it just me, or is Hadi making Nick look a bit soft and watery in this shot? But once we compare the upper bodies, in my personal opinion, these guys are actually pretty close. I'm leaning more towards Hadi because he seems to be more dry. And once we take a look at the lower half, Hadi is still more dry, but I would give Nick Walker the edge because of quad size, and I also like the hamstring glute tie-in. Overall, I can see an argument being made for both of these guys, but just to me personally, Nick looks a little bit too glazed in this shot, and Hadi is very dry. Nick definitely has more pop. Now, we don't have a side tricep pose because Hadi elected not to hit it during his individual routine, so we have this variation. And I would give this to Hadi. Neither one of these guys are doing a good job of actually showcasing the tricep, but Hadi doesn't have the best tricep. Hadi wants to showcase that crazy detail in the midsection. And Nick Walker could definitely be hitting this shot a lot better. I think he should hit it how Rolly Winkler used to and just strictly show off the tricep. But overall, if this was the regular side tricep pose, my vote would be for Nick Walker. And let's take a look at the back double bicep. As far as sizing for this comparison goes, I usually just look at the guys side by side and go off of that. But Hadi Choopan is almost always stepping ahead of the line at the Mr. Olympia, so it's kind of hard to size, but Nick is slightly taller than Hadi. But this is definitely going to be a Nick Walker shot. I believe he's just too much for Hadi. Nick is massive, crazy condition. Take a look at the lower half of him, very reminiscent of maybe Branch Warren. Hadi Choopan may have harder glutes in this shot, also pretty conditioned throughout the lower half, but I honestly believe Nick is just out muscling Hadi in almost every body part in this shot. Now let's take a look at the rear leg spread, and I don't think this is going to be the same story as the back double bicep. Also, this image of Hadi Choopan is from the second day. You can tell he's more conditioned. And I'm not sure what happened to Nick Walker's execution of the rear leg spread. It definitely looked a lot better leading into the Olympia, but back for back, I'm gonna have to go with Hadi Choopan. Look at the crazy shape and the detail. Lower half, Nick Walker still dominates due to overwhelming mass, but Hadi Choopan is in crazy condition. Me personally, I would lean towards Hadi. Nick is massive in this shot, but the back isn't pleasing to the eye. I think Nick should still work on this execution. Now, you guys may have noticed we're already at the end of this comparison, and we haven't seen a front leg spread or ab and thigh shot. That's because Nick Walker elected not to hit them in his individual routine. Now, I could have took a stage shot and zoomed in, but it would have been all blurry. But I'm pretty sure we can give the front leg spread to Hadi Choopan. Ab and thigh probably to Hadi Choopan as well. Some may argue Nick Walker, but that's why we aren't comparing those two shots. So let's finish up here with the most muscular. And if we're going to go with the most muscular guy in this shot, it's definitely Nick Walker. And Hadi has given him a hard time throughout this comparison, so we can give this shot to Nick. But outside of the delts and the arms, I feel like Hadi Choopan is winning everywhere else. The chest with the striations, the crazy ab separation, even in the quads. But in this shot, Nick Walker is the most muscular guy. Let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about my analysis of this comparison? And also, if you want to see any more comparisons from the Mr. Olympia. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.